Hi, and good morning, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy morning to join me. I really do appreciate it. Forgive a guy, you feel me? I have not been knowing what time it is since, well, if I knew what time I didn't know it was, you feel me? I wouldn't know what time it is. Anyways, I hope that you guys are good. Today I want to talk about promises. And obviously, promises means a whole lot of things, you feel me? And broken promises are plentiful, you feel me? I mean, how many times have you been promised something, just to be held out in queue, you feel me? On that digital queue, trying to get those new Jordans, You got some Travis Scotts, you got the Cactus Jacks, you feel me? It's just sort of like promises are meant to be kept, I've always believed in the promise, right? I mean, when I was a kid, and to this day, it's very rare, but pinky promises are for couples, I've always felt that way, and I gave one recently, and it's ironic, but promises are something that have intent, and their intent is to adhere to a loyal sort of philosophy, in that, like, it's gonna get done, you know what I mean? Like, whatever it is I promised you, or whatever promises we made, those will happen. America's Promise was the name of a essay contest that I was published in back in the day in US Weekly, or USA Today or something, US News World and Report, I'm not sure. Time Magazine, I think it was Time Magazine, because it was America's Promise, 100 greatest cities in the country, and Albuquerque had made the listing that year, and I'm 38 years old, so this is ancient news, you know what I mean? But when I was able to receive that, when I won that contest or whatever, and I got published, it was just sort of like, at that early age, I had made a promise to this country, and with every intent, I plan on keeping that promise. This country means a lot to me. I mean, not to be all sidebar, get on some quest stuff here, but like, I love the United States of America. Now, one thing I'm unhappy with is our government, but I feel like the government and our country are two different things. The government is in charge of our country. Our country is sacred, you know what I mean? Our country is a safe haven for, almost 400 million people. I'd like to think, right? That's, in theory, that's how it should be. The unfortunate reality is that a big part of that number of American people here, that reside within the borders, are not doing well, and could be living a way better life, and are not, because the government, not the country, but the government is choosing to act a certain type of way, you know what I mean? But again, two independent agencies that can work free without from one another, you know what I mean? And because a country is nationalism, it's socialism. A country means, like, we're all in this together, you know what I mean? The government is interested in business, they're HR, you feel me? Their primary concern is making sure the country abides by all of the legal law statutes, land, air, water, law. You see what I'm saying? And so promises are a lot. When I made that promise, I went on to win many countless awards for public speaking and stuff, and I was the captain of my speech and debate team. Yeah, that's how nerdy I am. True story. Both my junior and senior year, something I'm very proud of, you know what I mean? I've not met many speech and debate captains, only in the movies. Anyways, promises are really important to me, and if you're a part of my life, or if you have been a part of my life, and I've ever made a promise to you, then you know how important it is to me. Oftentimes I've been unable to make promises to, significant others and stuff, just because I hadn't really had one ever that I wanted to promise anything to, you know what I mean? Like, no hate, you feel me? maybe that's how my ex feels about me. I'm just saying that, like, I never, went out of my way or wanted to go out of my way to promise a significant other in this particular example to, like, for me to be with them no matter what, or, anything at all. Like that bed sheet talk, the silly talk, you know what I mean? Like kissing under the sheets, like seriously, tableside talk, whatever, coffee table talk, but with your partner. And I just feel like if there's anything I've ever done in my life, if there's anything I've ever done, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm the guy that shoots for the ground, you know what I mean? Lowest bar possible in my own individual life, but I have been pretty good at that. Admittedly, I have a number of different flaws, countless flaws, you feel me? Far from perfect, especially when I'm out of character. I'm a lot more perfect when I'm in character, you know what I mean? I mean, look at this face. Obviously, I'm kidding. I'm trolling. It's fun to laugh at yourself. I know that I do a lot, and if I didn't, well, I guess I would not just be me. You feel me? I'd be doing something else. I'd be on some other life, you know what I mean? But, like, as it is now, and from what I'm experiencing, I just think that promises mean a lot, and I get that promises are often made and sometimes not kept. You know what I mean? There's lots of promises that are made, and very few times do you have a situation in life that, you can rely on that person to keep their word. You feel me? And again, I've been building on this my whole life, like I just get in trouble as a kid, and I mean, I'm just not saying anything. You feel me? I mean, it's just sort of like promises, and being loyal and being faithful to a cause, you know what I mean? And I think I'm okay on that end. I just think that sometimes I need to focus, more on how I apply that very useful skill to my own personal life so that I don't get all thinking too much, you know what I mean? And that's the other thing about promises is like, like you can't think about them too much. Like you made it, right? Like you made the promise, and so commit, you feel me? Do it. And I find myself in a really peculiar situation where, like, I don't think I'm going to be the person that comes out ahead this time. And all right, but like I made promises, and I'm not sure what happened this week, but I know that sometimes people are just not themselves, you know what I mean? And like it's interesting because regardless of like how I can be sometimes, I always have it in the back of my mind that like it's still got to get done, you know what I mean? That like it doesn't matter, again, I shouldn't have made the promise, you feel me? I shouldn't be out here making promises to girls and telling them that like I'm dedicated to them and telling them that I love them and telling, you know what I mean, if I'm not like willing to do it, you feel me? And not just say it, but like act like it, don't act like I'm 12 years old, don't act like my girl is anywhere else but where she tells me, you know what I mean? And like regardless, whether or not I know where she lives or not, you know what I mean? Like who cares? I get how you can care if you think about it too much, and obviously that's where I was a big part of this relationship, and I hate myself for it, you know what I mean? But like a promise is a promise, and whether or not you make them as a child, and you submit it on over to some magazine and they luckily choose you, you feel me, or whatever, or if it's something that you've made to a person, a friend, a girlfriend, an ex-girlfriend, you know what I mean? It's just sort of like you got to keep your promise, again, because otherwise it literally was all a waste of time, and like you may not have even been using your time meaningful, you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't have, it was a total waste of time. And one, I don't like wasting my time, and two, I wouldn't have spent time on something that I wanted to waste my time on to begin with had I not even thought to myself beforehand, with quite some thought put into it, and at that moment, that I was actually gonna come through on that, you feel me? Again, because like that's not my bag, I've lived my entire life presenting myself both in character and as a person in my own personal life, as a person that I just, that wasn't my card, right? Like from an early age, it was just sort of like, be honest. People aren't always gonna like what they hear, but at least they can't come at you on some, that's not true kind of stuff. And that's kind of where I've been in my life, you feel me? Like, and it isn't a great model for success, just because oftentimes, the cheats and the losers, and the thieves, get ahead. Like real talk, right? People that commit, fraud on a global level, guys that get elected to be president and run crypto Ponzi schemes. You know what I mean? I mean, holy Jesus. But these things happen, and people do them, and they are happening, and people are doing them. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like, what promises have you made in your life, and which ones do you intend on keeping? You know what I mean? Because again, like, I find myself in a real precarious situation, and it's not an ego thing, it's not a pride thing, it's just a be a man thing. And like, ego and pride aside, you feel me? I think being a man can be separate from those things. I don't think you have to be those things, like, to be a man, but because being a man is so much more nuanced and complicated than that. You can't just like put something on a label and then just be like, that's a man or whatever. I mean, in the philosophical sense, from like a guy born at birth as a dude who identifies as a dude still. You feel me? That's all that I'm saying. Like, just to be perfectly clear. Pride Month just ended, so congratulations to all those people who, are comfortable enough to be themselves, and don't ever let the haters let you think anything other than, like what Oliver Tree said type stuff. Like, you're beautiful. You feel me? That's what it is, all right? So, yeah, let's, get out of here with that. But, hey guys, I really appreciate you watching these videos. I'll be making more than a handful of them again today. I'm out door dashing and, just trying to make a few dollars. I'm a top dasher. Anyways, promises are really important to me. You feel me? Again, it doesn't matter what character I'm playing in life, be it a version of myself, or, we're all characters, so that, in case you guys weren't thinking the same way that I was, you feel me? Like, are you the same person at work or in class that you are around your bestie or around your boyfriend or around your girlfriend? You feel me? Like, we all wear different hats, and that doesn't mean anything weird. It doesn't mean that, you're a million different people. It just means that you got different costumes and you play different roles. You feel me? Like, quite literally. Like, what's your role at work? What's your job title? That's your role, and people need to play their roles. You feel me? And like, I had done a terrible job of playing my role in my personal life. Just isn't any instance in my own life where like I'm given a role in my own personal life. Like, I'm terrible at that. You feel me? Like, I've not yet figured out how to hone in my own personal role and work with that. And I'm really trying to make it work as fast as I can for me, because I'm very interested in things in my life that are possible but are just a reach away from me because I messed everything up, and so I sit here, you know what I mean, and I'm like, I don't know what to do to solve this problem. And then, I have promises, you feel me? Like, I made promises that I've never made before, and like, I want to be that dude, you feel me? Like, if I didn't love this person, I would not have made those promises, and I would not be so stubborn on trying to like keep them, you feel me? Just because I messed up, you feel me? And people mess up, and I'm sorry and stuff, but promises are a big part of my life, you feel me? And again, anytime I've ever made them, I've really tried to go out of my way to make sure that those promises are fulfilled. Regret not making some promises, you know what I mean? Just because if I had made those promises, I probably would, be in a different place mentally and emotionally, you feel me? But I, would not be anywhere other than where I am right now, just because I just got through the best experience in my life while also simultaneously destroying it, you know what I mean? But like, now I'm trying to pick up the pieces, and I'm praying and I'm hoping that, with some growth and stuff and some classes and stuff, you know what I mean, that I'll be able to be more presentable to this woman that I do love. And again, it's fine, like, seriously, I don't want to keep rehashing this out. I won't, and I don't want to. It's just you guys are seeing how this is playing out in real time. I hope that you guys have a really good day. Thank you very much for watching my show. Go on out there and have a blast in life, you feel me? And if you're gonna make promises, you know, let's try and keep them, just because I have every intention of keeping all of my promises, and I'm so stupid and so just, you know, a kind of way right now that I can't do anything about it other than put a smile on my face, be a man, and hope for the best. I hope that you guys have a really good day. Thank you so much. All right, bye.